Welcome to Hey you guys, it's your girl T, aka T Cherie Baby if you're looking for my music, and welcome back to my channel with T with the details. Now I want to give you guys a heads up. As you guys all know, this is all about surgery journey, and I want to try to give as much information as possible. This video is from 2021. It's currently 2023, and I still feel that the information is still current and valid after reviewing it. I do want to let you guys know that at this time, I had already had my consultations with multiple doctors. I went and saw about 3 doctors. Dr. Cabral in consult, Dr. Elamanzar, and I also saw Dr. Manuel. So I paid for my consults. I want to let you guys know that I planned this surgical trip without actually knowing if everything was going to be okay, because I was concerned about my BMI. I think my BMI was 38, and I was not sure. Now, so I look like this, but I weigh pretty heavy. And so I was really concerned about my BMI. And I still said, okay, if I can't get my surgery, maybe I'll go get some facials. Maybe I'll go, get some other invasive type of treatments while I'm there in Santo Domingo and make a vacation out of it. So I went out of the country thinking I was not going to get my surgery. But I went prepared. And when I say I was going to get something, I was going to get something. I just knew I knew in my mind I was going to get something. I didn't care. So from there, after I had my consultations, I got really good news. And that's what this video is about. I got really great news from all the doctors. They all told me they can work with me and work on my BMI as high as it was. But they also saw I was very fit and kind of athletic. And I looked healthy, and all my labs and everything checked out. So, which we'll elaborate on that later, because I think one of the reasons why more work was done on me is because I was very fit, and all of my blood work checked out. So I went into surgery thinking I was going to get one thing and came out with a whole lot more done. Yes, that's a whole nother tea for a whole nother video. So you guys keep watching these videos with me and stay tuned, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Remember, these videos are about a year old. I'm bringing it to current, and I hope these help everyone that is thinking about doing this journey. Once again, I love my experience. I love my results. I love my doctors. I love my rehab. But what I did was dangerous, extremely dangerous. And so I don't recommend that someone who hasn't done their research thoroughly knows a lot about their body and their anatomy, as well as are going to take really good care of themselves and know how to handle themselves out of the country. I don't suggest you go, unless you've done the research and made visuals in your mind of how you're going to handle yourself, as well as preparation. So enjoy the video, and let me know if you guys have any questions. Comment, subscribe, and let me know if there's more information that I'm missing and that you guys would like to hear about. All right, and you are now with T's Details, giving you all the details and the breakdown. You guys know I will always give you as much information as I possibly can. So thank you for tuning in with me, and hopefully by the middle of this video, you'll be giving it a thumbs up because I give you all the tea. So let's begin. So today is my first official day in Dominican Republic. We're in my room right now. It's a little messy, but it's pretty large here at Catalonia. I have the room with the 2 windows for the ocean front. So one of my windows actually faces the ocean, and the other window faces the pool of the hotel. There's 3 levels to this hotel. One of the drivers that I have met with today stated that this building used to be owned by the Hilton, and once they sold the Hilton, they did some renovations and it became the Catalonia. So far I love my stay here. Everyone has been awesome. It has about 2 restaurants, 2 or 3 different bars, actually 3 different bars, because there's a bar at the pool area, and then there's a bar in the lobby, and then there's multiple bars where the restaurants are located as well. So the weather has been amazing. But let's get started from the beginning. So from the beginning, my flight was delayed. Prepared for delays. Have a backup plan just in case you have at least a 24-hour delay. So my delay wasn't that long. It ended up being 5-6 hours. But initially, I was supposed to have a 2-hour, technically a 3-hour flight.
And it was going to be like a 3 or 4 hour flight to Miami, and from Miami like a hour and a half layover, and then straight to Santo Domingo, which was like only another 2 hours. Well, my flight ended up changing, and luckily I was just like, let me just look. I was on the phone with my friend. So if you have a friend that you're going through with this is like the best thing that you guys can share. I say talk to to each other, or your surgery sisters, or stay in your surgery pages on Facebook or Instagram often, because things are constantly changing. Do not think anything is set in stone, okay? And also, when you think that you thought of everything, you think of something else. So constantly talk to someone, constantly, go over your plans and say them out loud. Don't just say them in your head. With me and my best friend kind of going through this at the same time, every time we talk to each other, we would talk to each other for hours throughout the day. Us talking and sharing this through, going back and forth through ideas. Like, she would give me some ideas, I would give her some ideas, or when I was saying something out loud, I would think of something. So, and then there's times where you're like, oh, I feel like I'm forgetting something. You are forgetting something, like 9 times out of 10. So my flight was delayed. Back to that. I wasn't expecting it, but luckily it worked out. It usually works out. Stay positive when things constantly change. Just expect things to change, period. Okay. So I ended up coming in at 1 in the morning, which was like not something I wanted to do. I've heard like some horror stories about people being on the road, especially during COVID, and the curfew since I've came, the curfew has been extended for the last like 5 days. So the curfew went from like 3 p.m. and everybody was like getting off the road and getting home, to where they give you like a grace period of, I think, an hour or two, to 5, and then it went from like, I think 5, if I'm not mistaken, it went from like 5 to like 7, and from like 7 now it's at 9. So during the week. So on the weekends it's still at 7, and they give you like a grace period to get home for like an hour and a half. So like, got that information. But I've heard horror stories about people like, from outside of the United States, getting stopped by the police and then getting robbed, like, or basically saying like threatened if you don't give money because they know that you're not from here or whatever. The police do whatever they want here, so there's no getting away from that. So I was very nervous about being at the hotel at 1 in the morning, but I did. And so I was like looking for other flights. Like, I was gonna see if I can cancel my flight and see if I could do like a one-way from like where I'm coming from to like New York, or one-way from where I'm coming from to like Miami, and then take another one-way to Santo Domingo. Like, that's how desperate I was. I didn't want to come at 1 in the morning. But once I realized there was no other flights coming to Santo Domingo, I was like, okay, maybe it won't be so bad, and a lot of people get off the plane. So after I ended up getting a layover in Charlotte, and it was about a 5.5 hour layover, like one of the longest layovers I ever had. So I ended up leaving. I can't sit still long. I ended up leaving, going to the mall in Charlotte, which was awesome. I ended up buying one of the dresses that I ended up wearing here in Santo Domingo already, that I really liked and got a few compliments on. And then I got myself back to the airport in time. I do not recommend that if you are not really good with your phone, or really good with directions, and really good with timing, or if you get easily distracted from the mall, because I thought I was getting distracted, but I had like tricked myself, and I came perfectly. I came like with plenty of time. So also, once I got into Santo Domingo, which I feel like is not like covered with a lot of surgery girls as far as details are concerned, luckily I flew with American Airlines, and they give you your forms for immigration, and it's 2 short forms, and I'll make sure I'll give you guys a clip of what the forms look like, and you have to fill everything out. So remember when I told you guys that when you're filling out the information online, take pictures? It's the same exact questions. So I filled it out to its completion on both of them, and it was just reiterating everything that I filled out online, which was very annoying. Like, why am I filling this out again? And make sure you have your dates correct, because I had messed up on my date, thinking like I really was on the plane at the 6th, but I was arriving on the 7th. So I had to correct my dates. And luckily for the airplane pilot, when he was doing the announcement, he made that correction, like, make sure you guys put on your paper that today's the 7th. We arrived on the 7th, not the 6th. I was like, oh shit, let me fix it. So the flight was awesome. There was like hardly nobody on it, but that also made me very, very nervous, because I was like, oh shit, like, it's 1 in the morning. That means nobody's arriving, and I look like a target. Like, I literally felt like I had tourists written all over my forehead and my body. Like I really felt like I stood out. So, but the great thing about Santo Domingo, there's a lot of diversity here, where like people look very, very, very fair skinned where they look Caucasian, and very, very dark skinned where they look African. So and then they'll start speaking Spanish, and you'd be like, oh my God. So it's very easy to blend in, I guess, so to speak, far as your appearance is concerned. So like for me, that was a concern for me, but I don't think like anybody who's going, you could be any race here, literally, and still blend in. I just wouldn't like, I don't know, just don't be too bright, I guess. Don't be too bright, don't be too flashy, because then people will pay attention to you. But far as the most part, people are like talking to me like I still spoke Spanish and things like that. And my best friend was getting the same experience, and she's a few shades darker than me. So anyway, moving forward, as soon as I get off the plane, the plane's empty. I'm nervous. I'm like, okay, where do I turn these papers in? They're like, oh, they'll show you where immigration is all the signs are in Spanish. Luckily for me, I'm very familiar with a lot of Spanish, so and you'll kind of make it out. One thing about Spanish, some words are like kind of self-explanatory. Even if they're spelled in Spanish, you can kind of figure out what it might be. And so immigration was in Spanish. And I still, just to be sure, like asked somebody who looked like they could speak English. And I also had, like, in case if it was a super emergency or like where I really felt lost, me and my best friend, we downloaded an app called Genie. And it's a really cute app, and it's purple. And for the most part, you can pay for calls for translation. So that was really good. Like, I felt super secure after we had got that app. Like, I'm just like, oh, this is gonna be a piece of cake. Not only am I quick on my toes, I already know a few Spanish words. I can speak, formally. I can ask questions. I have a lot of vocabulary, actually, since I've been on this trip, that I was like, oh, you know what? Okay. Sorry, y'all. I don't know why this is popping up in. This is one of the dresses I got from Burlington. The button-up dress is super duper comfortable, but the buttons keep popping up, and I don't like that. Anyway. So, but yeah, if you need help as far as that app, you pay. I don't think we paid. We just downloaded the app, asked for it, and signed up, made an account, and then even tried it out. And you really can get a person right away. Now, that app will only work if you have Wi-Fi. So the problem that my best friend was running into, I have T-Mobile. So I immediately called T-Mobile like, yo, I'm going to Santo Domingo. I want to make sure my internet is working. Like, not the crawl that comes with my service for international anything. I want the extra boost. So T-Mobile, I don't know about any other plans, has like 3 plans. They have a day plan that's like $5 a day. They have a week plan, which is like $29 or something like that. Then they have a 2-week plan. Oh, so it's like four plans. They have a 2-week plan, and then they have a month plan. Now, the difference between the plans, I think it's like 2 gigs, then you got 5 high-speed gigs with the other plan, and then you got 10, and then you got 15. So I paid that $50, even though I know I'm not going to be here for a month. I was paying it for the internet services. Let's say have 20 bands minimum. And I'm going to explain that to you guys for a couple different reasons. The reason why I say 20 bands is that, or get as close to 20 bands as possible, is because I think a lot of girls forget that you have to buy supplies. I'm going to be so honest with you guys. Supplies, I purchased probably over about $1,500 worth of supplies. Okay, just supplies, things that I needed, that I thought I might need at home. Like, I even got new couches, because in my mind, I've been preparing for this for about 2 or 3 years. So, and my couch, I made sure I had a chair. It's not a recliner, but it has like the ottoman and all that, and it's super comfy, because I was anticipating, like, what if I need to come home early and still heal? So, like, all in all, I spent a lot of money just preparing for this trip. Now, luckily during COVID, the prices for the flights are extremely cheap. Like, I literally got my round trip ticket through American Airlines back in July. Like, so COVID had really slowed down flights. I had got my ticket like $370 round trip to Dominican Republic. And even when I told one of the drivers, he's like, that's crazy. That's no way that I was like, yes. And I was like, mind you, I've been preparing to come to Santo Domingo for some time, and I would search for tickets all the time. So tickets would normally range between $1,600 and $1,300 round trip, like $700 round way. If you do a one way, sometimes you can catch a one way for like $450, but average, that's how much the tickets were. So it was like, damn, a $2,000 round trip ticket, and everyone's talking about that Santo Domingo is so much cheaper. It's not cheaper. Like, I want to get that through everyone's head right now. Getting plastic surgery in Santo Domingo is not cheaper than it is in the US. You spend the money in other places. The results that you get here are better than the US. So the same amount of money for better results, I'm gonna spend it elsewhere. Also, you get an experience, you get to see what you're capable of. You can actually turn it into a vacation slash, plastic surgery mission. I don't know. But let me just clarify that with you guys. So, and I say 20 bands because also, so for the preparation, the costs, the flights, bags. I had 2 check-in bags, and I actually took my carry-on bag and made it a check-on bag, because a lot of the fluids and stuff that I brought, I knew was over the limit that you can bring on a carry-on. So I turned my carry-on into a check-in, and then when I get back, I'm probably not gonna have most of the stuff with me, so then I can just have it as a carry-on. So, and on my other video, I think I showed you guys that, and if I have to reiterate it, I'll explain myself again. But anyway, moving forward, also your bills when you come home. Like, so I tried to pay a few things up. I tried to play a lot of things up, like a month, anticipating that I was going to be down for a month. So if you calculate all your bills, all the bills that you pay in a month's period of time, and factor that in your surgery costs. I feel like girls don't talk about that enough. Like, you need to factor in all the costs for preparation, the cost to get there, the cost to stay here. And me, I might be a little bougie. I might be, whatever. But I want to stay somewhere nice. Like, first of all, I'm in another country, so I want to feel safe. And the Catalonia, for me, you guys, has made me feel extremely safe. They speak English. They're very attentive. They ask you where you're going. They want to know what you need. They're very patient. They're very kind. I was stuck between Intercontinental and Catalonia. So, and for me, the deal breaker was the bathroom. I'm a bathroom girl, usually I wear makeup and stuff like that. So that was the deal breaker. Other than that, like, they'll even help you. They'll be like, you know, like earlier today, I went and I ordered an Uber. Uber was very decent too, you guys. If you're worried about Uber, Uber was very decent. Just know your conversions, because the money that it's going to cost you to take an Uber will be in Santo Domingo's pesos. So you just need to have an app up or have something Google readily available, or even screenshot you a price list so that you know what is how much. But for the most part, the Uber only cost me like $7, you know, in US dollars, versus taking a taxi or a cab. Anyhow, moving forward. But yes, the preparation and cost is a lot more. And when you get home, especially if you're a working girl like me, like I work a 9 to 5. So being off of work means I don't get no pay. So you have to be prepared for that, you guys. All right, so getting off the plane, I had my papers for immigration. I was nervous, followed the signs, pretty much followed some people, asked someone who looked like they spoke a little English, which he did, and he was like, oh yeah, I think we go this way. Okay, cool. Stood in line. Now there's a line. Now this is where it was confusing. I'm like, we're immediately getting in line, but I'm worried about my bags. Where are my suitcases? I need my suitcases. I need to find out they rampage through my stuff. I need to see if it was checked by TSA. I need to see if any of the liquids leaked that I put in there. I need to see if any of this money that I stashed is gone. Like, I was nervous. Like, where are my fucking suitcases? Like, I was really nervous. And the line was kind of long. And you guys know during COVID, lines are a little bit longer because you have to stand 6 feet apart. So I was really nervous. So finally, I would say the line for the immigration line lasted 35 minutes. 35 minutes. And half those people weren't on the same plane as me. So I was like really nervous. I'm like, where these people come from? What's going on already? But I kept following like who was one particular guy. That's why I said pay attention to your surroundings, because there was definitely one guy that got off the plane and I knew he was on my plane. And there was a lady, I knew you were on my plane. So we must all be going to the same place, because if you ain't got your bags, I ain't got my bags. Yeah, so just pay attention to your surroundings as well, you guys. So stood in line, followed directions, and I was very, very nervous about immigration, but he just asked for my papers, and he was able to just ask me. He was just like, what are you here for? And make sure you guys know certain words like vacation, travel, or transportation, papeles, papers, immigration. Make sure you know some keywords. I also did like it didn't help me much because I forgot to send it to myself. But I actually had a Word document where I just did a bunch of phrases in Spanish, translated from English to Spanish, that I thought I would need to know. And I figured like when I had some free time, I would go over it. But yeah, I forgot to send it to myself. But doing that actually made me brush up on certain words. So it did help. It helped that it helped because I was like actually doing homework for myself, but it didn't help because I didn't have it with me. Anyway, so brush up on a lot of words if you guys can. Listen to some Spanish music, watch some Spanish TV. I will watch Spanish TV at least once a week for, you know, a few minutes, or listen to something in Spanish, or I will follow certain hashtags on Instagram, like learning Spanish or easy Spanish learning or something like that, just so that I would see it every day. Okay. Next, gave him the papers. He then asked for my passport. He went over my passport. Then from there, he asked me to put my fingerprints down, and then he asked for, you know, the left hand, and then the right hand, and then my thumbs. Once I did that, he was like, you're cleared to go. And I'm like, where do I go? And then he points to where I go next. So where I went next, I'm like rushing over. There's like the little conveyor belt where the bags come out. Only where I was seeing is like this guy taking a whole little, I don't know what you call those things where they put the suitcases on and reel them away. I was like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I rushed over and I got my bags before they put mine on top. But I don't know where those bags go after they put them. I'm sure they're supposed to go somewhere safe where you can pick them up. But there was a lot of people behind me that was still on my flight, and I don't know if they were able to easily grab their bags. But let's just say the conveyor belt stopped, and they took all of the suitcases off the conveyor belt, and they were like wheeling them away somewhere. So I was luckily able to grab my suitcase before that happened. And the taxi people were like looking at me like, you want a taxi? You want a taxi? And I'm like, no. But I felt like if I stood by the taxi people instead of somewhere isolated, it would probably be a little bit safer. I don't know. That was just me. Could have been my paranoia. From there, I had to wait about 15 to 18 minutes additional for my driver. And luckily, he stayed in communication with me. He explained to me that he had to go through like 2 checkpoints. And I didn't understand until he finally picked me up. When he picked me up, Jose was wonderful. He got all my bags in, got me in, and he explained everything. He speaks English as well as Spanish. So he broke it all down about the curfew. He broke it all down about the police. He has to have a certificate to be able to be on the road during curfew, so to be allowed to pick me up from the airport. Like, it's serious, okay? It's serious. So I was just grateful. Like, thank y'all. Thank you for getting me. Thank you for speaking English. Thank you for all these things. Thank you for breaking down everything to me. He was just like, no, you're in a wonderful area. The Catalonia is a great hotel. You'll love it there. My recovery house is not too far from here. Like, you're safe. And if you need anything, contact me. I'll be up. Like, I'm always have my phone. And that is just such a blessing, like to just have a contact. And even like talking to him all these months back and forth on WhatsApp still made me feel very uneasy, because people are scammers. It's easy to scam someone you've never met or seen or met in person, or can fill them out or have no idea anything about them. Like, it's just somebody who says they're a person, you know, on the other end of the phone. So make sure you prepare yourself for some scammers. Make sure you prepare yourself for some uneasy, some people who are not who they say they are, and like, yeah, all that. Anyway, so he got me to the hotel. Now this was the issue with the hotel, that I've been so overworked though. I've been overworked, so I didn't think everything as thorough as I would have normally done if I was well rested. But anyway, so with the hotel, because I arrived on the 7th, but they still counted as the 6th night. So that was my dilemma. Like, they pretty much moved my reservation because I told them that my flight was delayed, and that's my fault. I should have kept my reservation the same. But it worked out because I paid for just the night. She was like, well, we have to charge you for the night because technically this is Saturday. Like, this is still Saturday's night. You just arrived at 1 o'clock in the morning on Sunday. Like, so after she broke it down, I'm like, oh, I just need a place to stay. I'm tired. I've been flying for like 24 hours. I've been up for 25. Like, what I need to pay you? So the other issue is, make sure you call your bank and make sure your bank knows that you're going out of the country. Chase is really good. So I was like, what's wrong? Why my card not working? She's like, your card's not working. I don't know what's up. Like, I was like, hold on. So I'll come to find out that after they added the taxes and stuff on, it was a little bit more than I had in the account. It ended up working out just fine. I just told her, look, I'll pay for tonight and I'll worry about this car situation later. And I technically, because they're such like a cash state, like if you try to do that in any other hotel, like especially in the States, they're not having that. They want a credit card on file. Like, for any damages or anything you might do wrong, or for any extra charges, they want your card on file. But here, they're like, oh, we'll take the cash. Like, cool, just come down, however that's tomorrow. I was like, here you go. So it worked out. I ended up getting a cheaper daily rate. Matter of fact, I'm about to go downstairs and pay for tomorrow. And the reason why I'm doing it like that, it might be kind of a headache for others where you just don't have to worry about it. But for me, actually, it ended up working out. I ended up saving like $90 instead of just doing the reservation, because each day, especially since it's during a week, so like tomorrow's Monday. So now till Tuesday is going to be cheaper than it was for when I booked the whole thing. But we'll see. So I get that nightly rate. So yeah, just make sure that your times and your dates are correct. Like, double check, especially if you're flying red eye. The only other thing that I loved about the red eye was I had a whole row to myself. The flight was empty, y'all, empty. And flying over the ocean, and at night, the stars were livid. Like, they made me cry. Like, there were so many stars. I've never seen so many stars in my life. I was able to see the Big Dipper, y'all. Like, yes, it was fantastic, spectacular. So far, the people look nice and clean. The restaurant, the food has been immaculate here. I think I went to the Pearl, then I went to their cafe and had a dessert, tres leches. I had a coconut and caramel cookie, powder caramel cookie, very, very good. I've had powder caramel cookies before from a Peruvian spot, so I was very familiar. Tres leches is always good. So far the food has been really good. I was also hungry when I came in, so she was like, oh no, we have 24-hour room service. So the guy whipped me up some fries and some fried chicken. I had a few fries. And then I had mostly the fried chicken or whatever, which I hadn't had fried chicken in a long time, but that's the other thing. So other than that so far has been the trip. The room has been awesome. The first room I was in was a little different, but I didn't like the fact that the bathtub paint was a little chipped. And like I said, this is an older hotel, but compared to all the other buildings, everything's old. Like I'm a Vegas girl, so I'm used to everything being brand new. So I had to standards are just very, very high when it comes to hotels, living in Vegas. Other than that, the pool was open till 11 p.m. It got really dead. It was really live and active. The streets, people have been on the streets. It's such beautiful weather. Tomorrow I'm gonna try to go to the beach, but I do have my doctor's appointments tomorrow, so I'm gonna see Dr. Cabral in consult, and I'm gonna see Dr. Alamanzar. I'm thinking I'm gonna go with Dr. Alamanzar, but we're gonna see. The other thing that I want to let you guys know is there is a world of emotions. So I went through fear, I went through excitement, I went through like focusedness and determination. Like I've gone through a lot of different things. And since I seen my best friend today, she's at a whole nother recovery house, so I rode over there and visited her. She had her tummy tucked, a BBL, and her breast implants by Dr. Cabral, who was my first choice doctor. So also disappointment and depression comes into play. Seeing her, like, it just kind of, seeing her and seeing she's snatched by the doctor that I wanted, it kind of makes me feel a little sad and a little jealous. Only because I don't know. Also, I am overweight. Like, I don't know what it is about these mirrors. Like, at home, I was feeling skinny. I was like, oh, bitch, we got this. Like, I look good. And then when I came here, I just felt big. So, I don't know. And it could be something that I ate. So I went through, that's why I ended up eating a lot more today than I have in the last few months, because the stress and the depression and the sadness kicked in. And I just have to try to stay positive. But it's very challenging, especially with a lot of girls with like weight issues. And also just in the back of my mind, I just feel like, I don't know if this is gonna happen for me. You know, it's always that feeling of like, this is not gonna happen for me. Like I'm in way over my head. I don't know, like it just kicks in. But seeing her, like, she looks freaking amazing. She looks snatched already and she's still swollen. Like, so she's gonna be even more smaller and even more snatched. She definitely has the Cobra body. She deserves it. Like, she definitely deserves it. I'm so proud of her. She's already walking, you guys. Like she was walking on day one. She was not playing no games, and I don't plan to play no games either. So I will keep you guys updated with these videos. And it is your girl, T Cherie, baby, please.